What's up, everybody? So basically this is a continuation of my last video. Last video I told you what forms you would need and what identifications and everything else that you'll need, including the amounts for the checks and also you know, what extra stuff you should include in your application pack, just to make sure that you've got everything covered, because there's nothing worse than getting a letter back from them saying, hey, you've missed this, this and this. The reason I say that is because I actually got one myself. It says I needed to send in just a couple more forms, which was my I-131A, Biographical Information. Didn't send 2 copies, didn't send one for me and my wife, just for me. That was it. So this video is basically going to explain the next step to you, okay? So once you've got all your information together, once you've packed it all in and you've put it all in the envelope and you've sent it to them, great, fantastic, you've got the first step out of the way. The second step, this one is a little more difficult, okay? And I say that wholeheartedly. Little tiny bit more difficult, little easy as well. So what you're going to have to do here is, when you get your I-797s, you're going to have to read every single one of them, word for word, bit to bit. Reason being is because those forms there that they send is where your information is going to be for your next step. It's going to be your appointment, for them to capture your biographical information. So what they'll do is they'll take your fingerprints, they'll take photographs of you, and that's it. And it might not sound like, you know, that's much to do, but the reason I'm making this video is to let you know that all the superstition and all those things are lies. I've sat there, I went to my appointment, and before I went to my appointment, I stupidly looked up what happens at the appointment. And I read things like, oh, it's with the FBI, and if you don't pass the criminal background check that they perform on you straight away there and then, they arrest you and they send you home. That's a lie. I've also read things like, oh well, if you don't do this or you don't do that, or if you refuse to give them DNA, if you refuse to let them take photos and whatever else, they'll arrest you and they'll send you home. And that's generally what I came across a lot of, is a lot of lies, a lot of mistruths, or people just saying things to wind people up. I don't know what kick they get out of it, but it's not funny. So when I got to the appointment, the first thing I did was speak to an advisor. They give you a set of forms, they ask you for an ID, and you also have to have proof of your appointment. And what the proof is that letter that they first send you, the I-797, and it'll say the time of your appointment, the day of your appointment, and that you're to bring your passport with you. They won't accept any other type of identification. It has to be your passport. If you haven't got one, get one. So you'll get there, you'll fill out their forms. It'll just be how tall you are, what your name is, what you weigh, where you're from, and where you're living. That's all they ask of you. You'll fill out those forms, give it to one of the advisors. When you do that, he'll put it all into the computer to confirm that you are who you say you are. Lets them know that, you know, the address and everything that you've given to them on the day is the same as what you sent in on the forms a couple of weeks before. I guess it's a way of them cross-checking to make sure you're not lying. Once they have that, they'll stand right next to you. They're very, very nice, very nice. And these people, they're not FBI agents, they're not secret police, they're not, you know, the government or anything else like that. This all happens in an application support center. They're people like you or me, general job, and their job is to take your fingerprints and take a picture of you, and that's it. The guy I spoke to had seen, I was his 457th customer that day. And that's not even an exaggeration, it's not a lie. You can ask them yourself when you get there. They see a good couple of hundred people every single day. And he told me he was going to finish in the early 600s. So for them to be that nice, that friendly, seeing that many people a day, they must really love their job. That's all I'm saying. So The whole appointment took 9 minutes. That was it, start to finish. And where the appointment is for that, it's not where you're going to go for your interview. That's one thing that I've been told. Your interview and your biographical information are taken at 2 separate places. So that whole appointment, as I say, took 9 minutes, over and done with. Really easy, really simple. There's no FBI there, there's no police there. The background check is not instant. You will not get arrested, deported, or anything else like that. Trust me, I had these fears going into it, and moments later, yeah, I just looked like an idiot to my wife when I said to her I was worried about it. She laughed for a while. It was kind of funny. Anyway, so that's the next step. Okay, once you've done that, they'll give you a receipt to say that they've done that they've taken your fingerprints, that you complied with them, that they're happy with everything they've got, and it's now in the hands of the UCIS again. They'll give you a receipt as well. Now that receipt they give you, you have to keep hold of. It's your evidence that you have completed your biographical information. Now, once you've completed that step, well, honestly, that's as far as I've got so far. But I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know what other mail I get, what else I have to do. Right now I just have to send in those other forms. Once I've sent them in, my application will continue. One last thing to clear up. The reason I bring this up is because I actually had this conversation with my wife the other day. When you fill out those forms, when you pay those fees are not your application fees. They're filing fees. If you fail to do any one of the steps that they tell you to do, if you fail to reply in the time they tell you to reply in, they can legally assume that you've abandoned your case and as such close down your case. When they do that, they keep all the money, and it's not theft. They're not trying to rob you or anything else like that. You've paid them a filing fee. You've filed your forms. They've done their job. You've failed to do yours. It's on you. Just letting you know that now. I understand that and I get it. Not everyone does, and I just want to make sure that you hear it from a non-biased person. So if you have any comments, questions, anything else like that, please leave them below. Please like and share. Help as many people out there as we can get this information. You're hearing it firsthand, straight from me. I'm doing this step by step, and I want to help you guys out if I can. Have a good night. Good night.